Oh. Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. Puja Swami Chinmayananda has shared a pledge with humanity on how to live. And part of this pledge is, may thy grace and blessings flow through us to the world around us. We have analyzed that grace is felt as guidance. Meaningful Mornings is a workshop to live by this pledge, to follow the guidance that is being shared by our original parent. And not just to follow it, but to facilitate it, to be ambassadors through our own lives and to share opportunities with others. Very much like Prithvi Seva Sangha, for Vivek to serve our earth and then to facilitate the same opportunity for others. Bhagavad Gita's chapter 5, the theme is Karma Sannyasa Yoga. We have learned lots about yoga and karma. How are we to practice sannyasa? Lots has been shared and will continue to be shared. In summary, less deservership leading to less doership. Please note, no external practices have been shared by Sri Krishna. That you should look like this or that you should wear this. When I asked all of you to carry a stick, Tridandi, I did that for you in a very application orientation, but Sri Krishna never overtly shared, this is what you have to hold to have less deservership, less doership. A beautiful verse in this chapter, the one we just covered, verse 10, Brahman adaya karmani. All of our actions should be for Brahman. Brahman technically means infinity. In infinity, there are no actions. There's only being. This has to be interpreted as all of our actions are for our parent, our original parent. Different words for that, Bhagwan, divinity. I hope you're recognizing the distinction between infinity and divinity. Divinity is personal, infinity is impersonal. There are no actions. Sangam tyaktva karoti yaha. With such a feeling, then one is sangam tyaktva, one is independent. They have renounced attachment. Another word for sangam in this context is raga. That's a word we come across more often, which means attachment. And if you remember chapter 2, if there's raga, what will also be there? Fear and anger. So here, Shri Krishna is teaching us, give up anger, fear, attachment. And this will be natural if one feels that they have renounced themselves for their original parent. I can't be attached to my actions if I'm an instrument. I can't be attached to the results because I'm an instrument. I don't deserve those results. My owner, my original parent, my master is entitled to those results. You will know that you are attached, in addition to being more fearful and angry. You will feel this sense of entitlement. I observe that a lot, particularly with a younger generation, that I'm entitled to this. That is the wrong attitude, which leads to the wrong actions. Lipyate nasa papena. One is not affected by papa, which means any result. In a more daily affair, what this feels like is one doesn't react. Being unaffected is the same as being non-reactive. So the more responsive we are, the less reactive we will be. This will come to life. And then the visualization, Padma Patram Iva Ambasa, like water on the leaf or a petal of a lotus. Show me how I showed you to practice that. You have to brush off your shoulders. The more we normalize this verse, that I am an instrument, all of the results that come into my life, I don't depend on that. What happens is that we change our vasanas. Another word for that is blueprint. The word vasana means smell. When we say something smells, typically we associate that with the negative, but that's not true. A flower smells too, correct? So that's why I like to make the distinction. Our vasanas that make us feel small, those vasanas are stinky vasanas. And the vasanas that make us feel big, those are fragrant vasanas. Vasanas, like a flower that blossoms, does so slowly. Vasanas are changed slowly. Start to normalize that you are not living for yourself. You are living in all ways for your original parent. This thought is shared again with equally beautiful poetry, verse 11. Kayena manasa buddhya kevaler indriyerapi yogina karma kurvanti sangam tyaktvatma shuddhaye. We'll take the whole first line. Kayena means with the body. Manasa, with the mind. Buddhya, with the intellect. Kevalaihi means only. Indriyehi, that is the senses. Api means also. This first line is sharing with us all of our equipments. The ones that have been listed, the senses, the body, the mind, the intellect. You can include breath in there, organs of perception, organs of action. It's not important. What is important is all of your equipment. The implication of this first line is that all of the equipments are integrated. They are yukta. Practically, when all of our equipments are integrated, that means they're moving in a singular direction. Correct? If a train is integrated, the train compartments can't go in different directions. There's a singular direction. How we can manifest this in our lives is to live simply, particularly to simplify the purposes you have for every day, for your life. And the most ideal way to practice this is that the only purpose for waking up, for living, is to be joyous. Then naturally, your equipments will all become integrated, move in that direction. This is specified. What is this direction? The third quarter. Yogina karma kurvanti. The one who is integrated, they live. Karma kurvanti. It's not they're in a closed environment. They're living like you and I are. And yoginaha, what are they living for? Yoga. Yoga is a path for evolution. I recently heard someone define yoga as stretching. And he said it with such confidence, and it was really heartbreaking and irritating that this path that can lead me to enlightenment is a path to make my body more flexible. Dilution is dangerous in all ways. I gave an example to some seekers yesterday. If you went to a restaurant and ordered a soft drink, and 1% was the syrup and 99% was the water, you would be irritated too, correct? You would ask for your money back, even though it would be healthier for you. What's important to note here, and Pujaswami Tejomayananda specifically shared this, a yogi and a bhogi are both living, they're both working. The difference is the direction. A yogi, one who's working for their development, they're going in one direction. The bhogi is working maybe just as much, but their direction is not inward. They become more and more and more extrovert. I had shared in our devotional class yesterday that all of the pleasure, possession, and position in our lives will be wiped away. By what? Kala, time. So why would I work in a direction that is highly dependent on time when I can work in a direction that is beyond time? Sangam tyaktva atma shuddhaye. The word Sangam tyaktva has come again. The same two words from the previous verse. Sangam tyaktva, to practice independence, to not be attached. What is the purpose of our equipments being integrated? What is the direction we're moving in? Atma shuddhaye, which means purity of the spirit. Now, clearly that is a wrong interpretation because the spirit is beyond purity. So here, Atma means ego. Atma Shuddhaye, the more pure we become, the more we feel the right Atma. For the one who is not reflective, their Atma is this body. This is who I am. But the more one reflects, they know more than the body is the mind, more than the mind is the ego, more than the ego is one's spirit. The previous verse, this verse, These are methodologies to change our vasanas, our blueprint, thought by thought, action by action. Was this practical enough for all of you? Okay, please remember that we're approaching 600 mornings. It is difficult to extract 600 practices and share those. From inspiration to application, your recent application was to brush off your shoulders. Whatever comes into your life, brush it off. Whatever leaves your life, brush it off. When you do this, you stay light. Correct? It's like taking off a backpack. You feel lighter then. It is this relative lightness that will inspire us to work for absolute lightness. When you taste daily freedom, you want weekly freedom then, yes? Your application for this morning, forever, everything you do, before you do it, as you're doing it, after you're doing it, Shri Krishna Arpanam Astu. If you forget in the beginning and in the middle, but definitely at the end, Shri Krishna Arpanam Astu. Say it. That what I just did is offered to Shri Krishna. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be happiness.